Hey everybody, let's greet each other properly. Good morning. This is Mr. Ainsworth, and we're going to get into section 2 here in chapter 10 in modern math or discrete math. Talk about linear growth and arithmetic sums. This is just a finishing lesson of part 2, okay? And in section 3, we'll get into the geometric growth and some different concepts. But right now, let's go ahead and finish our lesson. So, a couple things. You need a calculator, so have that out because the numbers get big sometimes. So get a calculator, put away your phones and take out your calculator, get out a red pen for annotating, get out your note card, do whatever you need. Okay, get out your resources and let's get started. Okay, what do you do if you are missing the last term? Okay, what do you do? So this is a new type of problem that we haven't seen before in the first half of the lesson. So let's take a look at what we have. What is the sum, okay, of the first 1,000 terms? Okay, that's S 1,000, okay? So what is that? Okay, and we know that we have 5, 12, 19, okay, dot, 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 and we got to go up to the, 1,000 terms total and add them up. We know that P sub 0 is 5. We do know that. I can see that the common difference right here, 12 minus 5 is 7, so the common difference is 7. I got that by taking 12 minus 5, and I get d equals 7. Or you can think addition. 5 plus 7 is 12. Pretty simple. Add 7 here, and you get 19, and so on. Okay, what we need to do is figure out the last term. I know the first term, okay? My first term is right here. It's p sub 0, and it's 5. But um, what is the last term in the sequence? The question is, what is that? Now, is it P1000 or is it something else? You have to know that too, and you don't want to miscount. So let me do something on the side here real quick, okay? Watch this. If I'm going to list out the first 5 terms, okay? P sub 0, P sub 1, P sub 2, P sub 3, okay, and P sub 4. That's the first 5. That's supposed to be 4. Come on, 4. Okay, come on, speed up. So if I list out the first 5 terms here, notice that the last term, this is the last one, all right, this is the first one. It's always P sub 0, that's always the first. But the last one is not P sub 5. So when I say find the sum of the first 5 terms, don't think that the last term is P sub 5, because we're start counting at 0 and not 1. If we start counting at 1, well then it would be P sub 5, but it's not. We're starting counting at 0. All right, so when I ask you to find the sum of the first 1,000 terms right here, the last term is not P1000. It's one less than that. All right, because we start counting at 0. All right, so having that in mind, we need to find P sub 999. We need to find that. So P, this is your last term. So how do we do that? Well, we use our arithmetic formula. So what is that? Well, remember that it's P sub n is equal to P sub 0 plus d times n from prior lessons. That's your explicit arithmetic formula. So we take the first seed, okay, 5, plus d, which is 7 in this case, right? So 7 times the n value, okay, and that's 999. We got to figure that out. That's why I said get your calculator out, because we're going to need it. So you got to take 999, multiply by 7, all right, and then add 5. All right, and that's 6,998. That's your last term. So 6,998, that's your last term. So here we go. Remember, it's first plus last times the number of terms. So the first 5 plus last 6,998 times the number of terms. Okay, now it's not 999. There is 1,000 terms. It's just that the last term is P sub 999 because we start counting at 0. So don't get confused there. So multiply by 1,000 and divide it by 2 because of the double counting. All right, so let's try it. So we got that number, so we're going to add 5. We get that times 1,000. All right, then we got to divide it by 2. All right, and that right there is 3,501,500. So the sum is 3,501,500. There you go. And that's the sum of the first 1,000 terms if you start at 5 and have a common difference of 7. Like I said, use your calculator. And understand the subscripts and what we're doing here. Okay, we start counting at 0, not 1, and that's why the last term is p sub 999. But in the formula, it's always first plus last. All right, first plus the last, all right, times the number of terms. Number of terms. Well, guess what? That right there is 1,000. So keep in mind what we're doing. All right, let's try another one. All right, you get good by repetition and tons of practice. So let's do this a bunch of times so you can get the hang of things. All right, so here we go. The first term is 5 again, but this time the common difference is right here. We add 11, all right, and that's equal to d, the common difference. So the common difference is 11. P sub 0 is 5, so I already know that P sub n is equal to 5 plus 11d, or excuse me, 11n. Okay, there's my arithmetic explicit formula. Now I don't know the last term, but what is the last term? If I have 200 terms in all, and I start counting 0, then the last term right here, well, that's P sub 199. It's 1 less than 200, just like the last problem. The last term in the sequence right here is this one right here. That's the last one. All right, it's 1 less than the number of terms in terms of the subscript, okay? So we got to find that. So let's do that. So P sub 199 is going to be equal to 5 plus 11 times 199. All right, and kick in your calculator like you usually do. All right, let's clear it out. Here we go. So 199 times 11. All right, and then add 5 more. Easy, right? 2,194. So your last term, which we call P199, right, is 2,194. That's your last term. So I know my first, all right, it's right here. My first term is 5. My last term is 2,094. And now I'm ready for the sum. So it's first plus last divided by 2. So first 5 plus last 2,094. All right, times the total number of terms. That's right here. That's n, okay? So it multiply it by 200 and go for it. So what is the sum? Let's figure this out. There we go. Come on, calculator, respond. Okay, my computer's running slow. Bear with me here. Okay, there we go. So let's get started. So we take 2,194, add 5. Okay, I apologize for my computer delay here. I'm having difficulties here. Okay, so we're going to add 5. All right, we get 2,199 times 200. So times 200 divided by 2. And we get the following sums. That's 219,000. So 219,900. Let's double check that. There we go. That's all there is to it. So let's get some experience in here, okay? If you think you know what you're doing, go ahead and work ahead a little bit. Challenge yourself, okay? So here we go. P sub 0, the seed, first term, is 2. Okay, we don't know what the last term is, okay? This one's the first. We don't know the last. Let's find it. It's 1 less than 100, so this is P99. All right, we start counting at 0, so it's off by 1 on the subscript. Okay, the common difference right here is 5. There we go, 5 there. So I know my seed of 2 is 2. I know the difference is 5. So P sub n is equal to P sub 0 plus d times n. So in this case, P sub n is equal to 2 plus 5n. Now I need to find P sub 99. Notice that I keep doing the same thing in each problem here, so you'll see some patterns going on. 2 plus 5 times 99. All right, and if you do that on the calculator, let's go for it here. We're going to take 2 plus 5 times 99, and boom, you get 497. So the last term is 497. So let's go for it. here we go, first plus last, right? So we take 5 plus the last term, 497, times the number of terms. Okay, it's right here, it's 100, right? Divide that by 2 because we double count. So what is the sum? Let's work that out. So 5, oops, clear that. I gotta press the right buttons. 5 plus 497, all right, equals 502 times 100 divided by 2. Notice that I'm pressing the equal button each time. You might want to do that. Uh, ooh, I put in the wrong seed. Sorry. Looked at the wrong spot. Okay, this right here, the seed is not 5. The seed is 2. Okay, so let's try it one more time. Sorry, guys. I'm human. Okay, 2 plus 497. Okay, that's why it's always good to check your work. All right, I was checking as I was going because I did all these earlier. Oh, see, that's the wrong number here. Now I'm really goofy here. Come on, 2 plus 497. I can do this. Assuming my calculator will catch up to me here. Times 100, not divided by. You got to hit the right buttons. Calculators are great, but if you don't hit the right buttons, you're not going to get the right output. All right, 24,950. So 24,950. Sorry it took so long. Okay, so here we go. Last one. Okay, so seed is 3, so that's 3. All right, common difference is 6. All right, I don't know what P49 is. Okay, this is my last term. So let's figure it out. So P sub n is equal to seed plus d times n. So P sub n is equal to 3 plus 6n. I need to find P sub 49, my last term. So I have to substitute in 49 and work it out. If you do, you get 297. Okay, there's your last term. So now here's the sum, the first plus last. So 3 plus, all right, 297 times the number of terms right here. All right, it's 50. I double counted, so I got to divide it by 2. All right, and you should get 7,500. Okay, so the sum is 7,500. You can verify that, and you should too. You shouldn't just copy my notes. You should work it out, and you'll do much better because you'll know what I'm talking about. If you just sit there copy notes, not very good. All right, be a better student and work with me. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so you don't know how many terms are being added. Don't know n this time. So the previous one we didn't know the last term. Now we don't know how many terms. Okay, don't know that. The number of terms. Okay, so let's figure this out. Okay, that's n. N equals question mark. Okay, so let's figure this out. We know the seed is P sub 0. All right, the common difference here is 13 minus 4 or 9, so d equals 9. You know your last term right here. Now P sub n, this is, P sub n, what is this, okay? Or what is n, actually? I know P sub n is 992. 992, but what's n? So that's the big question. All right, so this is P sub n, but I don't know what n is. Okay, n equals question mark. That's what the whole goal is. I don't know how many terms there are. Okay, I know the last, I know the first. So this is the first, this is the last, and I don't know how many terms there are, number of terms. Okay, all right, so let's figure it out. So P sub n is equal to the seed plus d times n. Notice that I go back to the previous lesson every single time. This is my last term all the time. This is my first term. You guys got to understand that. In fact, let's put all that in red, okay? Because you have to understand that P sub n is your last term. So this is the last, this is their first. Last, 922, and the first 4. All right, so let's substitute it in. So you got 922 is equal to the seed 4 plus the common difference. We know that is 9 times n. All right, so P sub n stands for last, P sub 0 stands for your first. Your seed is your starting term, remember that. All right, you work this out, so subtract 4. You get 918 is equal to 9n, divide by 9, divide by 9. All right, you should get 102. Okay, so n equals 102 terms. Oh, I disagree with that. I didn't say that correctly. N is 102. That's the subscript. There's actually one more than that. There's actually 103 terms. So you gotta be careful there. I just made a little slight mistake right there. So you gotta be careful. The subscript is 102. So this is really P 102, right? Now, because you're starting counting at 0, there's not 102 terms. There's actually, all right, 102 plus 1, or 103 terms here. Why? Because we start counting at 0. All right, because we start counting, all right, from 0. Okay, you can see that right here. Okay, and because of that, we have one more than the subscript value. Okay, so you got to be careful there. So now we find the sum. Okay, so the sum is equal to the first plus last. Okay, so 4 plus 922. So 4 plus 922 times the number of terms, which is not 102. That's a subscript. Okay, that tells you the position. Okay, times the number of terms 103. So times 103, I double count, so I divide it by 2. All right, what is that? So let's figure it out. So let's clear out from the previous problem. So we take 4 plus 922. That's obviously 926 times 103. So times 103 divided by 2 because of the double counting. And we get 47,689. 47,689. Now, the only tricky part, and let's highlight it, is right here. I can understand we start at P sub 0. This is P1, this is P2, and this is P3. So notice the last one here, this is P sub 102. All right, there's 102 terms plus the seed, that's 103 terms. So that's why I had to multiply it by 103 versus 102. All right, 922 is P102, but we start counting 0, so there's a total of 103 terms. That is the only tricky part in this entire lesson. If you get this in the highlighted area right here, that there's 103 terms, not 102, they're going to be okay in the next few problems. If you don't understand that, well, you're going to have a difficult time. All right, so let's see if the light bulb goes on, and let's try a few, okay? So here we go. The common difference here, D is 6, okay? You add 6. P sub 0 is 17, P sub 1 is 23. Question is, what's this? P sub what? I don't know. But I know it's on my last term. This is the last, and right there, there's my first. I do might know my last and first, but I don't know how many terms. Okay, number of terms equals blank right now, okay? Let's figure this out. So P sub n is equal to P sub 0 plus D times n. All right, I bring in 15, 11. That's my last term. P sub n is always your last. The first is 17 plus the common difference 6 times n. And I want to find the subscript. And I'm going to add 1 to get the number of terms. So we subtract 17. All right, 15, 11. Check this out. 15, 11 minus 17, all right, is 1494. So 1494 is equal to 6n. I got to divide by 6. And n is equal to 249. So I got 249 there, 249. So this term right here, 1511, this is actually equal to P sub 249, right? But we start counting at 0, not 1. So there's actually 250 terms. Okay, so let's write that down in red. 250 terms. Let's see if I can spell. Come on, terms. There we go. You got to add 1 to the subscript. Woo, plus 1. Okay, get the idea. All right, so here we go. Now comes the sum. So the first plus last divided by 2. So 17 plus the last term, which was this one right here. Okay, again, first, last. Okay, so 17 plus 1511 times the number of terms, not 249, no. We start counting 0, so there's actually 1 more than the subscript. All right, and that's 250. And then we work this out, okay? So let's clear this out. So 17 plus 1511, all right? I got to multiply by 250, so times 250, got to divide it by 2. And I get, 191,000. So the sum here is 191,000. So you guys need a calculator for all your work, all right? Unless you want to do this by hand. It'll take you like 10 times as long, okay? So let's get some more experience here and practice. And if you think you know what you're doing, go ahead and work ahead. And then when I'm done, go ahead and compare your values. And hopefully you're right. Make sure you check your work. All right, so here we go. This is a decreasing series, so the common difference is going to be negative. So I need to take the second term minus the first term. So let's clear it out. 700, 999. Subtract 8,012. Now again, I encourage you guys to do all of this right here and do it with me, okay? Just don't sit there and copy notes. Do it with me. So D is equal to 7,999 minus 8,012. All right, it's A2 minus A1. It's always the second term minus the first term. So this is negative 13. P sub 0 is the first term. All right, so here we go. So here's my arithmetic series as you normally do. So P sub 0 is the first term, 8,012, not plus but minus 13n. Now I bring in my P sub n. So 6,075 is equal to 8,012 minus 13 times n. So we got to work this out. I got to subtract 8,012. All right, so we've got, let's clear this. So 6,075 minus 8,012. That's negative 1,937. Okay, so negative 1,937 is equal to negative 13n. Divide both sides by negative 13. Okay, and n equals something. So divided by negative 13, boom, you get 149. And it better be positive, okay? The subscript has to be positive. Positive only, okay? So here we go. Now, how many terms are there? Well, we start counting 0, right? And as I said in all the previous problems, you have to add one more. So this tells me that after adding 1, there's 150 terms. So keep that in mind. All right, let's highlight that. Okay, there's 150 terms. So when you find the sum, you take the first term, which is 8,012, plus the last term, 6,075, multiply by how many you have, which is 150, all right, and divide it by 2 because of the double counting. All right, so let's figure this out. So 8,012 plus 6,075 equals times 150 equals divided by 2, the double counting. All right, you get 1,056,525. Let me just double check that value. Yeah, look right here. Okay. All right. There we go. We're rocking and we're rolling. Okay, and we're learning something hopefully. Okay, hopefully you guys are getting the hang of this. I mean, how many times do I need to do it? Well, I'm the teacher, so I guess I'll do them all. Okay, so let's keep going here. Like I said earlier, if you think you have it, work ahead and check, all right? And make yourself proud. Okay, so here we go. P sub 0 is 6, all right? You have to add 21. There's your common difference. So my function looks like 6 plus 21n, all right? And here's my P sub n. So 363 is equal to 6 plus 21n. All right, so subtract 6, subtract 6. Let's do this on the calculator again. All right, so you can see the values right in front of you, and do them too. Use your calculator, minus 6. All right, 357. So 357 equals 21n, divide by 21. How big is that? All right, divide by 21, and you get 17. So n equals 17, but that tells me that there's 18 terms because we start counting at 0. All right, add 1. Let's highlight that right there. Okay, so let's find the sum. First plus last, 6 plus 363. All right, times the number of terms, 18. divide that by 2. So what is the sum? Let's figure it out. So 6 plus 363 times 18 divided by 2. All right. No, I didn't do this right. What happened here? Let me try it again. So what happened? So I don't think I did it right. 6 plus 363 equals times 18 divided by 2. Let me check my work. Oh, that's better. 3,321. So 3,321. There's your sum. All right. Now let's try it again. Okay, so p sub 0 is 5. P sub n is 56. So 56 is equal to the first term, 5 plus d. It's obviously plus 3 here, right? Okay, so 3n. All right, that means 51 is equal to 3n. N is equal to 17. Okay, that tells me that I have 18 terms. All right, add 1. All right, 18 terms. So, what's the sum? Okay, first plus last. 5 plus 56 times 18. Divide that by 2. What is the sum? Okay, 5. 5 plus 56 times 18 divided by 2. 549. 549. There's your sum. All right, last one. Let's do it. P sub 0 is 75. P sub n is 475. All right, the common difference is 25. 25 plus 75 is 100, obviously. Right here, that's plus 25. There's your common difference. P sub n is equal to 75 plus 25n. Bring in the last term, so 475 is equal to 75 plus 25n. That means 400 equals 25n. How many quarters are in $4? Let me see, 4 times 4, 16. This better be 16. Okay, so n equals 16. You can verify that. That tells me that there's 17 terms. All right, so here we go. Sum equals 75, first plus last, 475, times the number of terms, 17. Divide that by 2. So 75 plus 475. Let's see if I wrote that down right. Now, there we go. All right, I've got to multiply it by 17 and divide it by 2. 4675. There we go. That's all there is to it. Whoops. All right. All right, well, there's more actually. There's some word problems too. All right, so let's do it. All right, before you do your homework. All right, so here we go. First word problem. All right, an auditorium has 20 total rows of seats. The first row has 20 seats. Okay, so 20 rows. All right, so 20 rows. Okay, the first row is 20, the second row is 21, and then 22, and then so on. Okay, these are the seats in the row. All right, so this right here, the first row has 20 seats. There's your C, there's P sub 0. All right, the second, this is P1, and the third, all right, that's P2, believe it or not. All right, because we start counting at 0, not 1. All right, 20 rows. So let's write it down. So P sub 0 equals 20. P1 is equal to 21. All right, P2 is equal to 22, and you're going to keep on going. And how many rows? Let me see. There's 20 rows. There's 20 rows, but you start counting at 0. So you're going to be going all the way up to P19. This is your 20th row. 20th row, believe it or not. Okay, because we start counting at 0, not 1. All right, what is that? Okay, what's P sub 19? How many seats? How many seats? Okay, I don't know. We got to figure it out. Okay, so here we go. So P sub 0 plus D times N, and you don't know your last one. So P sub 19 is equal to the first one, 20, plus Ooh, my God, plus 1. So there's your common difference. So 1 times n, which is 19, right? Okay, so that's 20 plus 19, or 39. Okay, so there's 39 seats in the 20th row. If you want to list them all so you can prove it to yourself, go for it, okay? There's 39 seats. All right, but what is the sum of all these bad boys, okay? And then that is called the seating capacity. What is the seating capacity of this auditorium? All right, we're talking about an auditorium, total seats. Seating capacity, which is total seats. I don't know. We got to add them up, right? So here we go. The seats, or the total number of seats. Total seats is equal to the first plus last, 20 plus, okay, remember, this is the first, this is the last. So 20 plus 39 times how many rows there are, which there are 20, right? Look at this right here. There's 20 rows divided by 2 because we're double counting every single time. So what would that be? Okay, so let's go for it. 20. So 20 plus 39 times 20 divided by 2, 590. So in the auditorium, there's 590 seats. All right, this is called the total, come on, capacity. Okay, all right. That is the first one. Okay, second one. Let's give it a shot. Okay, now second type of problem. Let's take a look at it. So the small business sells $10,000 worth of products during the first year business. So $10,000, all right, during the first year. The owner sets an annual goal to increase sales at $7,500 for 19 years. All right, this number here, that is going to be the common difference. All right, we're going to increase it by 7,500, and that's positive. So 7,500, all right, per year and we're going to do that for 19 years. Okay. Assuming the goal is met, find the total sales. Okay, the total sales during the first 20 years of this business in operation. Okay, so let's start here. So P sub 0, this is P sub 0, it's 10,000 bucks. All right. That's the first year, or the seed, the starting year, 10,000. Okay. We don't know the last year after, in the 20th year. Okay, the 20th year. What would that be? Would that be P sub 20 or P sub 19? Knowing that we start counting at 0, not 1. Okay. Whisper to your partner. Is that P sub 19 or P sub 20? Okay, for those who've said P sub 20, remember you're not counting from 1 here. You're not starting at 1. In the subscripts, you're starting at 0. So this is really P sub 19. So if you said P sub 19, you're golden. Okay? Okay, so here we go. We got to find it. We don't know what that value is. So we got to find it. So P sub n is equal to the seed plus d times n. All right, so P sub 19 is equal to the seed, 10,000, plus 7,500, all right, times n, where n stands for the years. Okay, and we got to substitute 19 in, I'm sorry. So times 19. All right, we got to work this out. So here we go. 7,500 times 19, that's 142,500. Now plus 10,000. You could have done it in the opposite order if you wanted to. You get 152,500. All right, that is your 20th year. Okay, those are the sales in the 20th year. This is your last term. All right, this is your first term. All right, so here we go. The total sales, okay, in terms of dollars is first plus last, so 10,000 plus the last 152,500. All right, times the number of years. Ooh, okay, we got 20. Here we go, 20 years now. Okay, first 20 years in business. So times 20, but you got to take half of that because we double count. All right, so what is that? So let's figure it out again. Okay, clear it out. 10,000. Make sure you put the right number of zeros in there. Okay, there should be 4 zeros. Plus 152,500. All right, enter, times 20, divided by 2. Boom. And you get, ooh, look at this, 1,625,000. So 1,625,000. All right, total sales. Having a hard time writing here. There we go. During the first 20 years of business, keep that in mind too. Okay, so now that is a lot of examples, guys. Now what you guys need to do is some independent practice, right? All right, so let's do it, okay? It's one thing to listen and work with me. It's another thing to do everything by yourself, okay? So what I want you guys to do is to finish the rest of these, all right? Make sure that you show all work. Show all work and steps I'm talking about. If I just see a bunch of numbers, all right, I'm not going to sign off your work, okay, guys? Show me how it's getting done, all right? Just like I did right here. Step it out for me. All right, make yourself proud. I'll see you guys in my next lesson. This is Mr. Ainsworth signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.